right. Well, we're having so much fun here. Welcome to Staging the Third Act. I'm your host, Janine Escalier-Cato, and this show is by, for, and about baby boomers who are navigating their third act without children or grandchildren, which is, to me, a phenomenal niche that we're experiencing in this time in our lives. And I have a fantastic guest today, Sharon Watson-Hamilton. And she also she's a host on a show here for Auburn Community Television, and her show is about the Association of American University Women, and they do a lot of charitable things for young women who are in need of college scholarships, and she'll talk a little bit about that with you today. But our show, how we come upon our shows and our themes is I like to meet with my guests ahead of time and have lunch in Auburn, and we had wonderful times getting to know each other. And sometimes I like the theme to come upon organically, where when I get to know my guests, we kind of find the theme together. And I loved how we found our theme today. And Sharon's going to give us a little intro into her life and how she came upon her show. And then we came upon kind of a fun theme, and a lot of boomers can relate to, and it is retirement, a curse or a blessing or both. So we're going to kind of play with that a little bit today. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to Sharon Watson-Hamilton.
Thanks, Janine. Yeah. Thanks for having me in your home and the beautiful little show that you have going.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's almost been a year. I can't believe it.
Oh, fun for you.
It's gone so fast, and I met the most wonderful people, you included.
Thank you.
So you might want to talk a little bit about your show, how you kind of came upon it, and then a little bit about your career, and then we can kind of go from there.
Okay. It seems like a rather benign story, but it's my story. I'm part of the American Association of University Women, and we were struggling last year at our board meeting on how to raise funds. Mm-hmm. We are known in Auburn for our Trivia Bee and Susan Rushton, whom you've also had on this show. And Susan said, well, why don't we do a TV show? And everybody thought that was a great idea, but I was the only one that took up the ball and ran with it, and so it's my show now. No, not really. But it is. I've enjoyed working with Phil and the whole TV atmosphere, and so I talk a little bit about AAUW and our scholarship programs, or our Tech Trek, which is for young girls, and the STEM programs where they go off to UCD Davis campus for a week. So we just have various things that we're involved in, and I kind of got involved in that about 25 years ago, maybe, just because I was new to Auburn at the time, and I just wanted some more interaction with the neighbors and getting to know the town and getting to know people.
Yeah, it's a great way to do it.
And so that's how I got involved in that organization. Meanwhile, I loved what I did. I was a radiation therapist, and I absolutely adored that. That's treating cancer patients. Wow. A lot of times people say, well, what is that? And it's when you're diagnosed with cancer, there's basically 3 ways to do it. Chemotherapy, which a lot of people are very familiar with, and that's a systemic infusion or pills or something of that nature, to a surgery, which is always your best option if you can cut something out of there that's bad, get it out of there. And then the third option is radiation, which is what I did, and that's administering high-dose radiation to the area of concern. So if someone had breast cancer, we would just treat the area of the breast and not the whole body. So through 32 years of that, I watched a lot change. We used to, for horrible, could you poison it, slash it, or burn it? Was kind of the horrible way to say chemotherapy, surgery, or radiation, and we were the burning part.
Kind of the office jargon.
Yeah, the dark humor of the background. But I loved what I did. I loved treating patients. I fully believed as things evolved, it got not easier necessarily for the patients, but kinder to their body, less burning, less after effects, not as much after effects from like chemo. It's a whole different ballgame. But I love taking people on that journey because it's very scary. It's I don't know. I think half of my job was just making sure that journey was as safe as we could make it, and comfortable. I mean, they needed to trust us, and
I'm sure you were part of their healing too.
I certainly hope so, because
gosh.
that was huge in my mind.
I can't imagine, you know, I mean, there are a lot of people who don't have the supportive family.
Right.
And they're scared and they're alone, and then it takes somebody to just hold their hand,
Yeah.
hug them and say, I'm here with you.
And
That's huge.
I was a hugger. I mean, some of the mores of society changed over the year and we had to be careful, but I was never too careful. I still hugged. But you do have to be careful of that. But there's some people who, they might have family, but they don't want to use their family. They feel they're using them, or they're busy in their lives, which happens a lot too. And so oftentimes, I had a few patients, they wouldn't even say the word cancer. That was not allowed, and there would be a note in their chart, don't use that word.
Wow.
So I don't know what that is. It's not really denial, it's just not calling it, is trying to live with something you don't want to live with.
Yes.
So
And everybody deals with death
differently. Yeah.
And grief and loss.
Yeah. So so I did feel a real love for my patients that way.
I can, and again, when we were talking at lunch, you know, we were talking about, you know, what do we want to be this theme? And then both you and I got into the fact how much we miss what we did because it defined who we are.
Exactly.
And my teaching, my God, I lived for those kids.
Yeah.
I lived for those moments of, you know, when they would hug and say, you know, Mrs. Cotto, I look forward to seeing you every day. And,
Right.
and you are my anchor every day, and I don't know what I'd do without you. And you go, wow, you know, it's more than just teaching them how to read or write or do math.
Right.
It's that connection.
Yeah. It's a very personal element of our lives too.
Yes, and it, you know, I remember when I was ready to retire, just because I wanted to retire to be available to take care of my mom, and I'd already put in 36 years, but I was 60 when I retired, and I really wasn't ready to leave the kids. But after 36 years, I was kind of ready. I needed to be available, but it was so bittersweet because I had to leave for her, and I needed to be young enough to leave to take care of my mom, but I wasn't ready to leave the kids.
Right.
And then I had all these grandiose ideas of what I was going to do in my retirement, but as the years have gone on, I miss it.
Yeah, I still miss work. I often tell people that I think retirement's overrated.
Yeah.
But I think it's overrated for those of us who loved what we did.
Absolutely.
I think if you are just putting in time and you can't wait to get free of it, I can see where it would be, man, a joyous time. I will say I enjoy my time.
Yes.
That you didn't have when you were working.
Right.
Whether that be cooking more or sleeping more or walking or whatever that is.
Yes.
Now the time is more mine. It's not as structured and
to pursue your creative pursuits.
Yeah, that's been difficult because I didn't retire till I was 70, and I had two careers in my life, and I always used to tell Susan Rushton, I would laugh. I said, okay, I worked 51 years, I had two jobs basically, and I never had a desk. I never had a desk, and I don't know. She would laugh at that. It was like unheard of that you didn't have a desk. But my first 20 years, I worked at the post office to get myself through school.
Oh, great.
And so I was sorting mail. I didn't deliver. I was inside sorting mail. And but we didn't sit down. You know, we had a lean-to sometimes. But so that was the first 20 years of that. And then in radiation therapy, you're up and down. You don't have a desk. You're in a team kind of element. So I kind of laugh at that. I think, okay, I did that for 51 years, and then I retire, and my body just said, okay, enough, and decided I needed foot surgery and knee surgery.
Well, that's because
and
you're
back
on your
surgery
feet all the time.
You know. Speaking of feet, my husband he used to always tell me I had a good understanding, and I thought, oh, what a nice thing to say. Well, what he meant was I had big feet. Good understanding. Okay, so sorry.
Yeah, that's kind of a cute little pun. I never thought of it that way, but yeah.
But you know, when it took me a long time to kind of figure that out. I thought he was saying something really cool. Well, okay, maybe not. And but anyway, it was yeah. So when I retired, I really was adrift. I really felt it was a curse. I felt it was time. I was kind of losing my physicality and strength, and so it was time, but I still felt not as defined.
Yes.
I still felt
Well, for me, because I never had children,
right,
and that's why I do this show.
right.
I had children every day. I had 34, 32 children every single day, and all I could think about was educating those children, so I never even thought about being a mother, because for 36 years I had children.
Right.
And then I thought, oh, I'm young enough to do all these things that I love when I'm retired. And it never dawned on me that I would start to feel the fact that, oh my gosh, I see all my friends having grandchildren. I see all my friends spending time with their children and then enjoying grandchildren. And I went, oh my God, that's something I'll never have. And I never thought that I would even question that. And it started to weigh on me, and I was thinking, oh no, I will never have that. But the good thing is, I have had so many wonderful young people in my life that are still in my life.
Yes, yeah.
And my godchildren that were like my children, and they're still in my life. Friends' children that I've watched grow up. My students, I have so many wonderful ex-students that are in my life, and one of them calls me Mama, and that is the most thrilling thing in the whole world.
Sure.
I love you, April. And I have a mom that has such an incredible perspective on life, where she said, Janine, you know, you've influenced so many young people, and that influence is going to go into the universe forever. You had children, just in a different way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so retirement is kind of like, whoa,
Yeah.
this is a whole new reality I have to adjust to.
You know, going back to your show and your theme, I think the journey of not having children was a little up and down for me. Younger, I didn't think I was old enough to have children, and then when I could have children, it didn't happen. And one of the physicians I worked with said, because it was the time when, okay, do you pursue it? Do you go after thousands of dollars for in vitro and all this? And the physician I was working with at the time, he just looked at me and said, play the hand you're dealt. And I thought, okay, that's cool. I will play the hand I'm dealt. If it happens, great. And if it doesn't, that's going to be okay too. And so it was a little bit of a valley for a while, but once I grasped onto that and realized, okay, there's a hand I'm being dealt, and I need to play that hand. And my patients became kind of my children, not as lifelong as yours, but I didn't really start missing the idea until I get to this stage in my life when I think, okay, who's going to go through all this junk, right? And not that parents want to leave their kids that detailed, they don't, but my attitude is not normal, because I think I don't want to go through that stuff because it's too emotional.
I know.
I don't want to get rid of my mom's name tag and stuff, right? And so my attitude without kids is like, well, some stranger can come in here after I'm gone and just take care of it.
You know what I'm doing right now? I'm thinking of all the young people that want my mom's quilts, or I'm thinking, what? Yeah, because I have friends that are 20 years younger than I am, and I'm thinking, okay, would she appreciate the doll collection I have? No. Would she appreciate? No, they probably don't. And I'm trying to think, and these things mean so much to me, but who would really want them?
Well, I know, and I don't want to get rid of them. People say, well, you should start going through your big house now, because the bigger your house, the more stuff you start saving, right? And I don't know.
And when you have children, they automatically are going to send it down to their children.
Right.
Oh, look at Grandma's
Or
quilts.
they'll take care of it. You know, it's not a worry. I mean, it is a worry for some people. They don't want to have their children strapped with it, I guess. I don't know. But I think, no, that's okay. They'll weed through it, right?
So it's real. We have to get creative with.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
make a list, and I have to think. Okay, well, my mom's diamond earrings. I think I'll leave to this person because she'll
Right.
appreciate it. And it's so I'm now starting to make a list. But you're right. Most of the stuff
It's
it'll go to wherever it goes.
you know, and young folks today from some of the classes I've taken, they aren't this. I love dishes. I have tons of dishes. Kids today don't care.
They don't.
They don't
Don't
care
want it.
about that heirloom
No.
history, I
Don't.
guess you can call it. And so it's going to be a whole different.
Collectors aren't even buying it anymore.
I know. It's just
Antiques.
different.
They're not buying them anymore.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's a different thing where my grandma's dishes, the 6 mismatched plates or whatever, they mean something to me because they
I
were
know.
grandma's dishes. But I don't think anybody else will
No.
care about that.
They'll end up in some kind of estate sale.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Yeah.
The point is, you know, you and I both have had to readjust what we thought retirement would be.
Right.
But we're doing it.
Yeah,
We're doing it.
My creative juices come again. It's kind of a valley ride for me. Sometimes I feel really like, okay, I'm gonna write, and I took some writing classes, and I started a story, and I did the open mic up in Auburn, and people loved my story. But then I go through this mind thing of who really, for lack of a better word, who really cares about my story? I mean, you hope that it's compelling, but I don't know. I don't know. So I kind of I kind of unwound to that. And then sometimes I would get into needlepoint. Well, now my eyesight or my hands or whatever, my sewing ability is less than, not sewing even, crafty stuff, Janine. I'm not necessarily a sewer. But so it's a little, dexterity is gone, sight's gone a little bit, nothing to the point of detriment, but
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
but it slows you down.
I used to go to Mexico every summer alone, and I would just, alone, and I'd fly through the streets, walking, because my sight was good. Now my mom has macular degeneration. I'm probably going to get it.
Oh, no.
And so now I'm walking the streets of Mexico looking down and gingerly, and I'm thinking, this isn't the way I used to do it.
Right,
You know,
right.
and I'm kind of like, and then I have my glasses with my sunglasses over, and I just don't feel that free-spirited that I used to be. I'm a little bit more cautious.
It's very unsteady,
It's very
isn't it?
unsteady,
Yeah.
and I don't walk at night anymore because I can't see.
Right.
So it's like, wow, things do change. But, it's the gracefulness of being around people that you love and being around people that have the same value system and appreciating the people that you love and doing things like this.
Right.
And
right.
I still am very, very involved in my writing, which is really helpful to my peace of mind, and it centers me. But yeah, it's retirement for me isn't exactly what I imagined it to because I didn't imagine the health issues that come along with aging.
Gosh, none of us do, right? Right?
Yeah, but it's been humbling. Let's just put it that way.
Yes, absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
been humbling.
Yeah.
But again, there's a flip side to it, and that is I'm meeting so many wonderful people. I wouldn't have met Phil, I wouldn't have met you, Susan Rushton, all the people I've had on my show
Yeah.
if I hadn't done this,
Right. Right.
And I never imagined doing this when I was getting ready to retire.
Right.
So there's all these gems we have to find that aren't necessarily what we planned.
That are more the blessings than the curses,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
And,
I like that.
yeah.
I like that. More the blessings
Yeah.
than the curses.
Yeah.
That's really great.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think I still search a little bit.
And what do you miss
Yeah.
most about your job, your career? What do you miss most?
Oh, I think just taking care of people,
Yeah.
taking care of people. I don't feel I have that.
Yeah.
Take care of my dog. but she's a handful, so.
Yeah, we have a couple handfuls of dogs. I have the cat in the bedroom, and I'm hearing him, but he's getting senile, and if I have him out with the show, he cries the whole time, or he'll get up on the table. I know, it's like even my animals are aging.
I know. My little baby girl, we are Ford people. We have a Thunderbird and a Mustang and an Edge, and so I named my doggy Shelby for Shelby Mustang. so Shelby she is like the Shelby Mustang. She's much faster than I am, and she knows it. So that's where we are.
So your show, that helps, right?
It does.
Your show.
Yeah. In fact, mine's coming up in a couple days, and. Yes, and it keeps me connected with the group and things to talk about.
Right.
So yeah, there is that. But I don't know. I wish I could get passion. Sometimes I'm lacking passion.
Mm-hmm.
I heard it in your voice when you mentioned writing, and I don't quite have that. When I like to write, but I got tired of it or something. So it wasn't my passion.
Well, I'll tell you what got it for me. I've written a couple books, and I had one published, a children's book. And I'm working on a book in my group with Phil. But what helped my passion with writing is I got into short story flash fiction writing, and I'd send it out, and I won some contests.
Yeah.
So that gave me the confidence that I had something that I could still be passionate about.
Right.
So sometimes if you're doing a really long piece and you're not seeing anything come of it, go back to doing short pieces and finding avenues to send them out just for fun.
Yeah.
And you may hit it, you may not, but it's still a fun
thing to do.
It's like a goal or something to strive for.
Well, speaking of that, I did win a contest. I won a Caribbean cruise on my writing.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a long time ago, like 2000, so 23 years ago. It was a advertisement through travel agencies to enter a writing contest on how your summer was. And there was I won't say children, young adult component and an adult component. And I guess not many people did it. At that time I was in a different writing group through AAUW. And yeah, let's do this. Well, I think I was the only one that did it. Anyway, I ended up winning the 4-day cruise. Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah, and all it was it had to be 250 words, which is nothing.
It's a paragraph.
Yeah. And on how your summer went. And so I talked about...
You must have really concised a great paragraph.
Well, I don't know. But I wrote about a trip to Maine. I'd always wanted to go to Maine, and so I just... wrote 250 words about our little trip to Maine and how much it meant to me, and I still love blueberries and everything that reminds me of Maine. Anyway, so you're right. Those little things that you win along the way kind of encourage you to do that.
And that's where your passion is. It's like you feel so deeply about something and just get it quickly on paper and edit, and you go, wow, that's,
Yeah.
It's like little sparks of light.
Yeah. My sister and I are very, very different, and she's back in Illinois, and I'm not that close to her, but I read her what I wrote and won on, and her remark kind of squashed my whole passion thing. She goes, "Is that it? Is that how you ended it?" Because I ended it with some not a full statement.
And you won, so
nanner. But I remember that being, I don't know why that affected me, that one person's comment, I guess it was hers, that,
jealousy?
Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I shared that, I don't know particularly why, but it kind of squashed my...
I don't know why people do that.
Yeah. Well, I think we all want honest critiquing, right? You don't want everybody to say, gosh, that's great, and it's really not.
Well, there's a nicer way to say it.
I think there is too, but still, it was a mixed bag. It was a mixed message.
Yeah.
I appreciate that you didn't think it was that great, but yeah.
But that's exciting.
Yeah, it was exciting.
But I totally get the passion part.
Yeah.
It's all about that.
Yeah.
You had so much passion for your job,
yes,
for your
I
people.
Did. Mm-hmm.
I had so much passion for my teaching, so that I am coaching teachers. I have a part-time
nice.
job where I'm coaching teachers.
Cute. Oh, good for you.
So I have to stay in that educational element.
Right.
And I adore those teachers because I wish I had somebody to carry me through my beginning few years.
Right.
And I have so much passion for them because I know what they're going through. And I love visiting their classrooms because I get to be with the kids and do projects with the kids. And it brings me back. But we have to hang on to that and we have to continue that. And I can feel the warmth of you and the kind of person you are. And do you think there's any way you could volunteer and go back and volunteer to be with the cancer patients in some form?
There could be. It's very regimented now. It's very regulated. You can't say or do a lot of things. And not in a bad way. It needed to be done on some level. I'm not...
Well, since you worked there, I would think you would have a special clearance.
You do have to keep that updated, and I do, in case I ever go back. I still have my license, but I don't know. Things change a lot.
I could see you doing hospice too.
I have really considered hospice, and I
that.
can see myself doing that as well. Yeah.
You know what? There's a program. We have a few minutes left, but there's a program that I'm thinking of after my mom passes, because all I want to do is concentrate on her. But I'm thinking of volunteering for people who have no one to sit with them on their deathbed.
Yeah.
I think that would be such an incredible thing.
And I actually, do I like that? No, I'm comfortable doing that. Let me put it that way. And I went to the senior center a few years back. My idea of a program was to read. Same idea, but I would go in and read for an hour.
Ooh, I like
now,
that.
they don't even get to choose the book. I'm going to read something that I want to read
because
to
it's
them.
your passion.
Yeah. And I haven't followed through with that, but now that you've kind of brought it to the forefront, I might have to follow up on that.
Yeah, because you need to spread your
I think I do. I do.
And I think that would help you get back into that passion you had.
Oh,
and on that note, okay. Phil said we have a few minutes.
We have a few more minutes. Goodness.
I'd like to give you some time now. If there's anything you want to say to the viewers about your show or anything you want us to let them know that you're involved in, that would be a good thing too.
Oh gosh. Yes. My show is AAUW Conversation and Connection, and it comes out through our website. Phil sends it to me. I send it out to the membership, and you can get it off of YouTube, like all of his programs,
all of
right?
Our shows, yes.
And if you read Susan Rushton's column, both Janine and I were in it last week, so love her. And her show, Olio, so we can plug her too.
Yeah.
And so there are community shows through YouTube that you could get on and just find out a little more about us and what we do, and Susan and Janine and other shows I'm sure Phil might produce. I don't know, okay, here's a passion that I cannot have as a passion, but I love politics, bad subject right now. And I'm in a divided household, bad household. So I have to be very careful, but I really want to leave the message. If I was going to leave anything about a curse, a blessing, a passion, it would be we've got to get along and we've got to be kind to one another.
I love that.
And we have so forgotten that. And I don't think, and a lot of people say, well, just one person. Yes, if each of us, just one person, did something a little better. And that means that my good friends who think like I do will tolerate people that don't think like we do, because we tend to not want to be around them, but we need to be around them.
Absolutely.
It's the only way that it's going to get cured.
Absolutely.
Now, does it make me throw up sometimes? What's on the TV? Yes. But I do think that we're a country of diversity, and we need to be civil and kind.
Absolutely.
And
that's our salvation.
Yeah.
It's our salvation.
So,
okay.
But anyway, that's my 2 cents, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. And I love the fact that you did my show, and then I have a new friend.
Okay,
so to me,
excellent.
That's a win-win all the way around.
It is.
So thank you for joining my show, Staging the Third Act, and I just appreciate you watching and being part of this. So until next time, and I don't know who my next guest is going to be, but I'll have one. So until next time, see you then. This is Janine Escalier Cato.